What's something people only romanticize because they've never actually done it?
Living in any time period before now, honestly. The further back you go, the worse it gets. I'm surprised there aren't caveman dramas.
I have a lot of experience with this. Really, the off-grid experience is difficult, but you can have a hybrid lifestyle that at least eliminates some of the monotony. Compromise is what you are looking for. It's nice to be out alone in the sticks. It's also nice to walk into a convenience store and buy a cup of coffee at 4 a.m. for the love of God. Relationships. They're great, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people do not realize how much work goes into them. Teaching. Second career teachers can be amazing. I'm one. But the first year is a real wake-up call for those who think it's going to be easier than whatever job you had before.
Academia and grad school, a lot of people go in thinking it's intellectual freedom and discovering new ideas, and there's some of that. But the bulk of it is writing grant applications, navigating departmental politics, doing the same analysis 12 times because a reviewer asked you to, and spending years on work that might get 4 citations. The romance evaporates pretty fast once you realize how much of the job is institutional survival, not thinking.
Exactly. You don't get to do research on whatever interests you. I feel like a glorified salesperson. Playing a guitar and singing at a booked gig where the audience is made up of 70 drunk people who've made 22 requests for Sweet Caroline in the past half hour, and 2 drunken uncles who want me to let their nephew sing just one if I have the lyrics somewhere on my computer. A pox on all their houses.
Sailing? Anything other than a short cruise in gentle weather is a lot harder work than it seems. I love it, but it's definitely not for everyone.
Sailing. The art of getting cold, wet, and seasick while slowly going nowhere at great expense. I lived for 2 years on a Marcon Cutlass 27. It was an adventure, but it was often cold, always damp, and things rust that shouldn't be able to rust. I would never take those 2 years back, but I was really caught up in the romance and not the practicality of it. I married into a family where everyone gets their captain's license and then they bareboat charter for weeks at a time in the British Virgin Islands. I was so excited for a Caribbean adventure. I woke up the first night with Charlie horses in both forearms. I took my husband on his first lay-on-the-beach vacation a few years ago, and he was like a Victorian child trying Doritos. We now distinguish between sailing and vacations. LOL. Working in a restaurant kitchen, Anthony Bourdain made it sound like this gritty, romantic brotherhood. It's 12-hour shifts on your feet in 110 degrees Fahrenheit heat, $15 an hour, second-degree burns from the fryer, and someone losing their mind at 10:45 p.m. because the kitchen is about to close and they just ordered a well-done steak. Traveling full-time, nomad life, it looks magical online, but it's just constant stress, laundry, and no real home. LMAO. I did it for a year. I would personally do it again. I only stopped because of COVID. I met several travelers and nomads who were years into their adventures, and I dreamed of having that. Now I'm settled in a stable relationship with someone who values having a secure home. I wouldn't give him up for the literal world. I left my hometown to travel with just a car, hammock, and around $300. Over a year and a half, I traveled most of the US, even saved up enough to visit Europe for a few weeks and Asia for a few months. Hundreds of nights spent sleeping in the backseat of my car or a hammock in the cart corrals at Walmart. I have stability and security now and have settled down, so to speak. But it was one of the most liberating experiences of my life and was far less stressful than the stability I have now. You're right about the laundry, though. That part sucked. Living on a tropical island, you're constantly fighting the environment from ruining your home, your food, your clothes, and more. Running an animal rescue or sanctuary, it's a noble thing, but not many can deal with the abject cruelty and suffering they will have to face on a daily basis. And for every success story, there are just as many failures, animals not found in time or too far gone to save. The realization of just how evil and heartless people can be will severely impact your outlook on humanity as a whole. I ran a chow chow rescue for 10 years back in the 90s before rescue became mainstream. It's a lifestyle choice with few upsides. Phone calls in the middle of the night from someone being evicted 200 miles away, leaving dogs in the shelter because you know you have no room and it would take all your resources to save that one dog.
Rescuing a dog and taking on the commitment only to find out the dog has thousands of dollars worth of physical issues, and that is not counting the abused dog so afraid of humans that it can't even accept a treat. But it was also the most worthwhile thing I ever did in my life. I just burned out on my own after I lost my life partner. I'm a cat shelter volunteer. Yes, some people are cruel and you just wish karma would find them soon. But I also met the nicest and most generous people ever. We need something, we just ask our followers and there's always someone who will help. Food for our cats, litter, laundry detergent, garbage bags, and more. Need a foster home for our cats? There's always someone who volunteers. A nice older lady buys us ground coffee so we have fuel for our long days. To see people adopt their new cat feels so good that you almost forget what some of them went through. We specialize in feral cats, and to see a cat discover how good love feels is amazing.
Living in a tiny house sounds cute until you realize you can't stand up straight.
Sex in the shower. It's not good. It's slippery in the wrong way, it gets cold quickly, and water makes things shrivel. It might work in Bermuda. It's not working in Balach.
Running a small business. People picture freedom and passion, not the stress and constant worrying.
Absolutely. I work at a small bakery, so small that the two owners are there every day, working alongside us employees and staying far later than us to ensure their business's success. I admire their dedication, but honestly, I could not do what they do.
I want to be my own boss. Oh, you'll still have a boss, but instead of only one, you'll have as many bosses as you have clients. And they'll all act and expect to be treated like they're the only one.
When you run your own business, you get to work half days all the time. And since you're your own boss, you get to pick which 12 hours. Getting the opportunity to finally defend yourself. Many rednecks out there wait an entire lifetime to get robbed, despite not having anything to rob, so they can finally use their 20-year-old pea shooters. Many end up in prison. Prostitution, not sexy, often violent. Living on an island, hauling groceries by boat every week, in the rain. When women say, I wasn't interested in him at first, but he kept asking, so we went on a date. That was years ago. Looking at you, Grandma and Grandpa. Having a baby, there is so much sleep deprivation and barf and poop and snot. It is fulfilling, and the mom hormones usually help mom power through, and it gets fun as the kid gets older. But it is not romantic or blissful or like anything you've daydreamed about. All that said, my son is 18 and I'm so glad he's a part of my life. And he is my one and only because I couldn't handle the baby thing more than once. Farm living, like being up at 4 a.m. taking care of your animals because they're sick.
I love seeing trad wife influencers pretend to farm in cute sundresses. Let's be real, that dress is going to be covered in mud and filth in about 2 seconds.
Waking up at 2 a.m. in freezing rain because some calf decided to come out the wrong way, and then you have to get your arm up in their business trying not to end up with your animals dead and frozen? Everyone thinks farm life is just sunsets and cute pics, but they forget about the exhaustion, the mess, and the constant responsibility. Farming, owning horses, van life, military. I'm 4 for 4. I have a small business too. Had no idea people romanticize that. My parents have been their own bosses my whole life, so I'm used to the constant bombardment and liability over my head. I do not know why people who can't take care of a dog properly want more than 20 animals. Since people can't think, worked on farm as a teen where I lived on site, managed equestrian competition stables in my early 20s, living on site, enlisted for 4 years, did van life through Europe for a few months. Lots of it sucked. I'm getting a dual STEM degree right now, and this stuff is so easy compared to that. I just sit and think in the air conditioning. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.